Hi guys, so in this video I want to show you the perfect Pinterest campaign structure. When you start with your advertising, obviously I can show you the advertising structure that we have now, and you can see there are quite a few campaigns now because we are testing quite a few different things. But at the beginning it was pretty much just one campaign, right? So when we started with Pinterest, it was just pretty much just one campaign. And you can see one campaign had the most spent, and then we had like another where we tested another funnel. That was pretty much it, right? Now, what happened and what happens like overall with optimization, like you wanna keep it like quite simple, right? So the type of the campaign structure that I'd recommend having, like for example, one interest keyword targeting campaign, right? So you have just one campaign. Then you can have lookalike, act like targeting campaign, and you can have retargeting campaigns. You can have like 3 campaigns. I would not recommend having like too many different campaigns unless you're already spending like thousands of dollars per day. I would recommend to keep it like very simple. You would just have, so inside of your campaign you would have, for example, so you can see there are like different like ad sets. It's very similar structure to Facebook. So this was the first kind of like interest that had some initial traction, and it was beauty. And again, like these like specific subcategories, sub kind of like interest that we had the initial traction with, female and unspecified. So unspecified, by the way, it's like mostly women. That was from the time where Pinterest didn't have the gender kind of like selection option. So these are people mostly females anyway. And then big 5, right? It's very simple. And guys, again, like $900, $23 here. Repeats throughout this whole kind of like process. Ads, 13 different ads, 13 different creatives. Again, creative is a huge part of the success on Pinterest. This is what the structure can look like. As you can see here, we have structured it slightly different. So for example, this particular ad set inside of one of the campaigns, right? So for example, retargeting. As you can see here, it has here, right? So here we have the retargeting, and kind of like mixed with cold. You can keep it like separate. We haven't found like big differences, and we had the retargeting separate campaign. If you want to keep it simple, you can just have like one campaign pretty much, as long as you're naming convention. So for example, so at the beginning, like, so even this, right? So this is decent. Probably the age group would be relevant, and also gender, right? So we know kind of like what countries we're targeting. So when we analyze the data, it's easier, right? So currently, for example, we know like some of these like interest-based group, they're like repeating themselves. We know what these are, so we can kind of like analyze and dial in on those specific audiences. Do it yourself beauty, right? Which is just one little kind of like interest, right? So you can see do it yourself beauty, right? And has also some of these in it, right? So it's kind of like combined, right? Again, guys, will come down more to your funnel, then it will come down to your specific kind of like the structure and everything. But keeping it simple. So as I showed you, only after we started to get like consistent sales and the profitability, we started to test more and more different like campaigns, different structures. We started to be more kind of like proactive with testing different things. And mostly like the reason we would have like a separate campaign is mostly, in most cases, to test like a new funnel, right? Or also, let's say, if within one campaign, and this I'll cover this in a bit more detail, let's say we'd have like a lot of rejected ads. Then if you have like a lot of rejected ads, but some of them are approved and they would spend money, then it would simply duplicate the exact same campaign as is. And as you can see here, this was the original one. This is the copy, right? Very, very similar performance. That's what's interesting about, and this is another copy of it, right? But pretty much just duplicate, right? And once we found the winning funnel, the winning ads, we would just like duplicate it, to just spend more. So scaling on Pinterest is very easy once you find this like initial proof of concept.